All right, for our video today, I wanted to share an exercise with you that we call the top 3 emotions. And I'm sharing it with you because there's something that I've been working on in my life lately, and this exercise is really helpful for me. So I recommend this activity called your top 3 emotions, and it's super simple, but it's very powerful. So that means you sit down, you evaluate your days, and what 3 emotions are you feeling the most often? What does your brain automatically want to generate? There are definitely things that we're more prone to based on our habits over the many years. So pay attention. This is where we get awareness. Awareness is always step number 1. Before we can change anything, we need to be really aware of it. So you're going to sit down and you're going to write down your top 3 emotions. And then later, what we're going to do is we're going to be conscious about what are the top 3 emotions we want to have in our life. Like I said, step 1 is always awareness, because if you don't know what emotions are currently coming up for you, it just happens and you're not even really aware of it, you'll never be able to change it to something intentional. So that's how the activity goes. And now I'll explain why it was so useful for me in the last couple of weeks while I've been working on something I've been struggling with, which is frustration. I would put my others right now are joy, and I'm working on building a business and getting it up and running, so productive is one of the top emotions I'm feeling right now. So I see this one though showing up a lot. So I've decided that I want to replace frustration. I've looked at frustration in my life and it is not very useful for me, and it doesn't help move me forward in any way. So when I see that what frustration is creating in my life, I decided I would like to replace that with something. Now, there are some really useful emotions, things like love. That is one of the top emotions. I recommend everyone try and get more love in their life because it can do so much good. So many great actions come from a feeling of love. But I know that I'm not ready to turn my frustration into love. I get frustrated right now with my 5 kids that are home all the time, and I get frustrated with different things in setting up like a website or Facebook ads, or there's lots of things that I get frustrated with. And I can't move from frustration to love yet. Ideally, I'd get there at some point, but I'm not quite ready for that yet. So I've decided to look for an emotion that feels more available to me right now. Something that I could think so that I can feel an emotion that is more empowering than frustration. When my website isn't working the way that I want it to, or I notice there's something wrong with it that I thought I had fixed and it's not fixed, instead of feeling frustration, I decided a good emotion for me to go for would be curiosity. So when I'm feeling curious, now that drives action for me. It doesn't always feel good, but it can drive a lot of useful action. So when my website isn't working the way that I want it to, if I get curious about it, then I'm much more likely to resolve the issue than if I'm just like, oh, I'm so frustrated. Then I just sit in that and do nothing. So I recommend curiosity to anyone. If you have a hard time with another person or with certain situations, curiosity is an awesome emotion to go for. It's something anyone can reach for and just say, okay, maybe I don't understand. Maybe I can't love that person right now, but I can be curious. What made them that way? What made them do what they did? And getting curious can be much more empowering than other emotions. So by doing the top 3 emotions activity, I realized I was feeling a lot of frustration on a daily basis. So once I've recognized that, then what happens is I start noticing it after specific situations. For example, I may be working on my website when something isn't working, and a little while later I'll realize, oh, I was feeling so frustrated again when I was working on that website. So I start paying attention to it after the fact, and then I begin to build awareness in the moment. I'll be on my computer working on something and I'll realize that I'm starting to get frustrated. And the goal is to keep leveling up my awareness, to become more and more aware, because I can't really change something if I'm not aware of it. Understanding this process is often enough to help me recognize when I'm feeling an emotion that I am working on. But sometimes I still don't. So, I ask my kids, you have to be pretty brave to do this. Ask the people around you to point it out to you. But I really want to break this frustration habit because it's keeping me stuck a lot. So I've asked my kids, who are home all the time now, if I start sounding frustrated, just say frustration to me. So I can, in my head, I can recognize, oh, here we are in frustration again. My kids are, of course, more than willing to point out when I'm sounding frustrated to them. But I've also set up reminders to pay attention to this on my phone and iPad. I'll just show you. I made a sign for myself for in the mornings that says to remember to try and divert from frustration to curiosity. And I took pictures of that, and now I have that on all my devices. So when I turn them on, it does the same thing. It has this sign. So then what happens is I'll be able to recognize in the moment that, oh, I'm feeling frustrated. How can I be more curious, right? I redirect my brain. I start thinking, I wonder what happened. I wonder what's going on. I wonder how I can fix this. Whatever the thoughts are that drive more curiosity, then I focus in on those. And then the goal is to eventually get to the place where before I even feel frustrated, I'm in the moment, I notice it's starting to come, and I'll say, oh, curiosity, and I'll turn to curiosity instead. So look at your top 3 emotions to see what you're feeling on a regular basis. That is step 1 in gaining awareness around these emotions. Now, after you look at your list of your top 3 emotions, if you find that you're feeling an emotion frequently, like I am with frustration, that isn't serving you, I want you to try and be intentional about what emotion you would like to feel instead. Like I said, ideally I'd put love here, but I'm not quite ready to love my website when it crashes. So instead, I'm going to replace my frustration with curiosity. Of course, you want to keep any emotions that you're feeling frequently that you enjoy, but look and see if they're really serving you well. And see, is there an emotion that's just a step up from that will serve you better? This is a great way to take inventory in your life. Gain awareness of what's going on for you, and so you can upgrade yourself on a regular basis. So list your top 3 intentional emotions. Get really clear on what you want. And the awesome thing about this is it can change from time to time. Like right now I have productivity on my top 3 emotions because I'm in the midst of creating a business, and so I really want to feel productive and produce a lot of things. So list your top 3 intentional emotions. Get really aware of what you want in life. It's really hard to get what we want in life if we don't know what it is. Let's pick 3 emotions that serve us really well. Be conscious about what it is that you would like to be feeling on a regular basis. And then you get to direct your mind to look for those and create those emotions for you. I hope this helps you as much as it's been helping me as I've been trying to lower my frustration and get it off of my top 3 list. Do this activity where you look at your top 3 emotions that you're currently having and the top 3 emotions that you want to have. You are strong and powerful, and your mind is this amazing thing. It can do so much for you if you learn how to make it work for you, not against you. Let me know how it goes. You've totally got this.